Hello everyone, Bob Pillay here from Cornerstone Law Offices, and we've got another episode of Community Influencers. For those of you who have been following us, thank you very much. Love those comments, love those feedback from various speakers and various community leaders who've actually contributed. And today I have got Serena Denis. So welcome Serena, welcome to our Community Influencers episodes for what we've been doing.
Thank you, Bob, for having me here today as well.
Now, for the audiences and also Serena, I've known you, I think I've seen you at various events and community functions for the last 3-4 years, I believe. And it's been mainly around fashion.
Yep.
It's about multiculturalism and also around food. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about your association with fashion and multiculturalism that you are involved with in Queensland.
Okay, because before when I used to stay in my home country, I'm from Thailand. I used to be a model in there. And when I moved to Australia about 17 years ago, my first job was a model as well. Yeah. And I think about maybe 7 years ago when Rena Augustine, she contacted me for her red carpet function that's for multicultural. I used to support her, and since from that day, it's always about multicultural, about Thailand. It's always me. That's why people know me.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Now I know red carpet event obviously was a very big platform, especially for a small place like Brisbane, and it exposed a lot of people from different ethnic backgrounds, from different cultures,
Yep.
with different costume, and I always saw you all prettied up and in your outfits. Now obviously it takes a lot of time. For something that takes a lot of time, energy, you got to have a passion for it, right?
Yes. Definitely.
To be able to do that. Now you touched on it slightly, but I was going to ask you a little bit down the track though. You are from Thailand.
I'm from Thailand, yes, Bangkok.
In Bangkok. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your upbringing, where, what did you do when you were growing up in Thailand? Did you finish your high school there? And yeah, just tell me a little bit more about growing up for those people.
Yeah, I finished
out there.
Master degree in the university in Thailand. It's called Gurk University with first class honor. Yeah, when I finished my master degree there, I used to work in many industries, just like many teenagers in that time. Try to find myself, which one the right path for myself, and yeah, have been moving to many jobs in that time. But my last job before I moved to Australia, I was working in rejuvenation clinic, with the doctors.
Back in Thailand?
In Thailand.
Oh
yes.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Then when I moved to Australia about 17 years ago, of course I'm married to my Australian husband and start to develop myself with my skills and my language. About 2.5 years for learning and complete my certificate. Then I apply for the job just like normal everyone, if you migrant to Australia, you just need to have some qualification.
Your local qualification, yeah.
Especially in the country that you will stay. So after I finished that qualification, I applied for the job at Thai Airways International. Yeah, in that time, I was working with Thai Airways for almost 3 years before I changed to the current industry.
Yeah. So what? I come from an aerospace defense background, and anything to do with flying, aeroplane, or anything that goes up in the air really fascinates me, right? So you worked for Thai Airways for about 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Wow, that's a long time. So how many, I'm getting a bit technical here, how many flights were you involved with? How many hours were you been up in the air? Or did you do much flying?
No, when I was working in Brisbane, I was working in the office.
In the office, okay.
No, I wasn't
you went flying.
No,
right, okay.
No.
Yeah. So what was your role within Thai Airways?
In that time, I was customer service role for the membership frequent flyers when you want to redeem your points.
Yeah, nice. Now, you did mention growing up in Thailand. Now, obviously, I'm born in Fiji, and as soon as people go, where are you from? Go, oh, from Fiji. Oh, that's beautiful, holidays, resorts. That's all they can see, because normally Fiji would be a destination for holidays, right? Same thing with Thailand. Obviously, a lot of Australians go to Thailand for holidays, and there are some beautiful places. But can you just give us, and our audiences, for those who have never been or for those who've only been on holidays, a snapshot of what it's like growing up in Thailand and living there, obviously with siblings if you got any. What does a typical teenager do in Thailand?
Yeah, I grow up in the big city, Bangkok. Everyone know that, yes. Normally when people go to Thailand, you're thinking about the beach, cultures, food, and people very friendly and welcoming. For me, when I grow up in Thailand, I'm pretty close with my family, with my parents and my brother and sister. I'm in the middle. I got my younger brother and my elder sister that we still are very close to each other. We love cooking. We love to spend time to do many activities together as a family. But my dad, in that time, he used to work as a Royal Police for the aviation.
in back in Thailand?
In Thailand, That's why I always get involved with something that with the aeroplane, helicopter, all the time,
Oh, very good. So at what stage that you decided that, fashion modeling, obviously you were there's a little snippet there with Michael Schumacher when you were a
teenager.
It's been but what led you into that fashion and that beauty industry? What kind of ignited you to say, hey, you know what, this is where my passion is?
Because when I was younger, I used to be a model. I think many teenagers, they want to have that experience as well as a model or actress or actors. I was lucky enough to have opportunity to do the beauty pageant as well, not just only the model. And in that time, year 1995, Michael Schumacher, he just won the Formula One champion, world champion, And in that time, he came to Thailand because I think some organization in Thailand, they invited him and his team. And in Thailand, in that time, they just want to do like a beauty pageant competition.
Wow!
And that time, it's about almost 100 girls enter for the competition, and they selected me. I was lucky enough, and that's why I got a title Miss Formula One Queen of Thailand 1995 and get opportunity to take a photo to Michael Schumacher.
So Miss Thailand for Formula One Queen. Wow, that's a mouthful, and that's a very for people who are into Formula One racing. Obviously, that's it's a very privileged moment to be with Michael Schumacher, especially where he is now.
When he was very famous, but in that time, because I was younger, I didn't know much. I thought like, oh, okay, let's go for our competition, and could be fun, meet more friends and people. But after that, I think maybe 2-3 months later, I found out like who he was, and I just feel like, I should take more photos. I still keep his autograph.
No, that's good. So one of the things I always find about people who are into modeling or fashion, basically in front of people, you guys have a lot of confidence. You have a lot of energy that you share. Tell me a little bit more about it. Like what does it teach you? Just to be in front of people,
I think that I have to thanks to my parents to trust in me. And when I was young, they let me to do many things by myself, and that build up the confidence, but in a good way though. Like if something in not a nice way, they will come and discipline, because like in Asian culture in that time, we pretty disciplined to the kids. but something with the idea or something with the creative, they didn't stop.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
why it helped me to build up my confidence. Plus, with the school that my parents pushed me to study, the friend around me, it kind of support, and the teachers.
Good point. Now, normally I would pause through and pick up a couple of gems. So, Serena, you've actually identified a couple there already. Is to be good around people, good to be around people that actually lift you up and support you. I always say that, and it's obviously written, that you are a product of the 5 people that you normally hang around with. So it's good to know that, as you mentioned, even in the fashion industry, in the modeling industry, it's whether it's your family, your friends, or people around at colleges and universities, it's who you hang around with gives you that level of energy.
Positive energy.
Positive
yes.
energy, and that's very, very important. The other thing you said earlier on was, and I'm a big promoter of that as well, is no matter which country you go to, obviously Australia being a multicultural country, and we obviously support and embrace. I like your attitude of, even though you've qualified Masters in Art in Thailand, you came here and you also studied here to be able to get some local experience in education. So 2 nuggets. If you are sitting over there and thinking, you know what, I'm qualified but I can't find a job, or I can't find the right job, my suggestion would be, learn something local, get to know the local universities, institutions around, get to know Australian education, because I think that not only leads into knowing what we do here, but also gets closer to the people that will support you and embrace you and build that network, because that is important as well.
Yeah, I think that's very important when you come to the country that not belong to you, that you have no idea about their culture. You might heard from, in that time they didn't have social media like this day. Yeah, you can read from the books, but when the reality is you have to face that experience by yourself. And in that time, I was confident about my degree and my work background. It will help me to get the job very easy. In fact, it wasn't good enough, because you just need to learn something. I had to learn something from the level 1 again, because this is a new country for me. About the accents, about the English, about many things. Thank goodness that I had some English background that can communicate with people.
Did you, when you were studying in Thailand, was English taught in Thailand? Or?
Yeah, because I used to, my parents, again, thank you so much, my parents pushed me to the private school that I was studying since when I was preschool, 3.5 years old. Yeah, when I started.
So the university system is in English there as well?
Yeah,
okay,
as well,
very good.
but that depends on how many, depend on people as well, because many students, especially if you live in the country that not speaking English in your first languages, you think that maybe it's not important, because people around you speaking your own language.
Exactly.
If you want to speak English, you look silly, and in your eyes, friend, it's too much, something like that. And we just want to study English and finish some exams. That's it. So once when you finish your degree and you start to get to work, you will know that English language is very important for your future career. However, in this day, if you know English, it's not your advantage, because many people know that. But if you don't know, it's disadvantage.
Disadvantage, and that's important, especially. We socialize ourselves in a lot of multicultural events, and I think I've mentioned that previously as well. I would like multiculturalism is great, but integrated Australia is even better, because we not only learn from Australians, but we also are able to teach and learn at the same time, and that's where we can embrace and make that our society stronger. Now, it's sometimes you just when you look at people. Now, I came and did my high school here, And about 30 years ago, actually it's over 30 years ago now, I remember going to a shopping center and there were two girls from Thailand, sorry, not Thailand, from Hong Kong.
Okay.
They were speaking in their language in a No Frills Franklin store. It looked a bit odd back then, like over 30 years ago, and I felt like, hang on, even though I'm a speaker of another language, I felt like they should be speaking in English, so we could understand what they're talking about. Now, it's important to maintain your culture, maintain your language, but as important as that is to our children, grandchildren, and so on, it's important that we learn the language of whichever country we are. So obviously in Australia, it's English. Now, if I was living in Thailand, it would be a bit rude for me not to learn Thai and speak in English, right? So vice versa.
I think like if you live in other country that you wasn't born there, the most important not just only the language, it's about the culture as well,
Very
and
good.
about the lifestyle, about the manners.
Food,
yeah. Just learn.
Well, I think food is my weakest link here. So now we've touched food. What is your favorite Thai food?
My cooking. Of course, because like as I was raised in Thailand, my mom cooked for us all the time because she was a full-time mom. Learn from her, and many ingredients in here, they're kind of different. Which one that we have, and if we really want to eat something that my mom used to make it for me, I make it myself. But I still have some favorite of Thai restaurant in here, depending on how you like. Like at the moment, I can tell the name, right? Okay, because I live in Calamwell area, in that like kind of Sunnybank.
So people in Calamwell, Sunnybank area, here, look out.
My favorite one at the moment is called the Fat Pantry in Pinelands.
Okay, Pineland Shopping Centre. Okay.
They got one Thai restaurant there. It's kind of like a street style food, Thai food. Actually, the husband, he's Hong Kongese, and the wife is Thai wife. Yeah, that's why when he cook, I think he might ask his wife to taste, is it the right?
If it's the right flavor.
the right flavors or not.
So there you go. Anyone who's been to the Fat Pantry in Pineland, there's a little plug for you. Why don't you, give those guys a bit of a plug, put a photo, and next time you go down there, say hello to them.
And now they have like a new dessert as well. They're not just only like a Thai Asian style, they kind of fusion food, but still have some feel.
So what is your favorite Thai dish? If you are stuck in a country there's no Thai food, what would you be craving for?
I love Pad Thai.
Pad Thai, okay,
Every restaurant, Thai restaurant, if I go there in Brisbane or even in other city, I will order Pad Thai first, because I think if you cannot do good Pad Thai, you cannot do other dishes.
Okay, so that's a good
Isn't it?
gauge.
People know, I think almost every customers, if you go to Thai restaurant, you must have Pad Thai.
We went to Italy, and one
you
of the things.
Pad Thai?
No, and everywhere we stopped, I had a slice of pizza because obviously you just need to do one of those things. And my best slice of pizza was a little place in Rome, and it had nothing on it. It basically had olive oil, a bit of cheese, and some basil, and that was it. But that was the best. So can you imagine if there was toppings on it? So Pad Thai, there you go. So that's a good way to gauge a good Thai restaurant, I suppose. Pad Thai is good. Now, growing up, how old were you when you came to Australia?
How old? I was 27 years old in that time.
What was your biggest challenge, apart from the language? You obviously knew English. What was your biggest challenge coming to Australia?
It's still, I'm still, like, I have to say I'm always learning new things all the time, because English is still something that have to learn every day,
Yep.
especially for the accents. Everyone have their own accents. I'm from Thailand and I never shy about my accent because that representing who I am, who I was,
Yep.
and where I came from. And this is one thing that many students, they wasn't confident enough when some other people, they try to correct the accents. Instead of they try to improve their language, they stop to talk and they try to hang out with the friend that speak the same language with them.
Oh, really? Just because of the accent, they stopped?
Yeah, because when that's something that quite challenge. You know, you need to break through the ice in that thing. You just need to be brave enough. Like for example, if you correct my English, I will say thank you and I will try to improve.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
It is still challenge. And also the lifestyle for people. Yeah. Different with our culture.
Yep. And how do you cope? Obviously, you know, you mentioned about language. I mean, there's nothing wrong with your language. To me, accent, and that goes to you know, anywhere. Accent is something that our tongue is trained to twist. Too. So as long as you can communicate, like you said, you got your accent. I've got my accent. I can understand your English. And that's the most important thing, is as long as we're speaking English and we can understand each other, what difference does it make with accents? You know, people could say. Now, I did work in US for a bit. Now, one of the things, and I don't think I've touched this before, the hardest part was, I think it was the first night, I was trying to get a bottle of water.
Oh, water.
Just water. I was trying to get a bottle of water. Now, I thought I was speaking English, can I get a bottle of water? And the American, because of my accent, they could not understand what I was talking about. To the extent there, it's like I had to repeat multiple times. My brother jumped in and goes, "You're after water."
Yes.
It's like, oh, how can water be so difficult to order? You know, so yes, accent does make a difference, but if you focus on the common language, your accents will obviously be more clear and so on. The more you speak, like you said, those students, you know, and it's pretty sad that you know, you got students who are actually going away from speaking because they got accent. Don't be shy, guys.
Yeah.
It's a unique.
Because I have been talking to many, especially Thai students here. They're quite good in their grammars. They're good in their writing.
Yeah.
But they very scared to speak. And many times, like before I get a job in here, or even in Thailand, because I used to communicate with non-Thai people as well. I used to ask one, I think, Italian business guy. I'd say like, how does he feel about, you know, if he want to hire someone in Thailand and they cannot speak English properly? And he say, as a business person, they don't need you to speak perfect English. They just need someone who can communicate. Yeah.
As long as you can communicate and get the message across, that's the most important thing. Now, just while we're prepping up, Serena, you mentioned about social media. Now, social media is great. Obviously, what we're doing right here is trying to get the message across to people, for people not only from Thai background, from multicultural background and ethnic backgrounds and so on, to find out, you know, various aspects and strengths and so on, and how we contribute into Australia, into the Australian economy and so on. At the same time, obviously social media, as much as it can help, it has a side that needs to be you know, looked at and also to be conscious and aware of, right? You touched on a very important thing. There's a lot of people that go through bullying in social media. Can you touch a little bit about it?
Because I love to read. Before I used to read books a lot. I'm still reading. Now I'm reading from the social media. And you know, many scientists and researchers, they did the research about social media in the positive and negative way. If in the positive way, it's very easy. You can connect to people all around the world. You can make your life easier, build your career, your friendship, relationship. This is about a good thing. You receive the news from other country like within one click. Especially if you remember about especially foundation donation when other countries have like a natural disaster, like earthquake, like even in Australia in that time bushfire. We need donation. People know and they donate. That's a good thing, positive things. However, in the negative thing, this is from the researcher and scientists, from the research, even in Germany, America, Italy, you can read it. Many people, when they receive in the negative thing, they depressed, envy, and they sometimes suicide because they got bullied from sometimes people that you know or sometimes people that you don't know. And in that case, as a parent, you need to be very, very close to your children to guide them, like if they have that experience, what they should do. For me, my advice, surround yourself with people who have positive mind.
That's good. Now, obviously there's a piece of challenge there as well. Bullying, especially with teenage kids, and not just teenage, I suppose adults can get bullied as well.
Everyone.
And especially if they're kids, and obviously they're surrounded by Australian kids, they know English and so on. It can be a bit challenging if your parents, or if the parents are from non-speaking background. Now they may not be aware of what the kids are going through, because either they may be technology deprived because they didn't have technology. Obviously my parents didn't have computer, they don't even know about computers, or they really don't know what's going on. And I think you touched on a good point there. If you have teenage kids, maybe surround yourself with other parents, so at least they can learn from each other, because you're right, there's so many people that go through that, that can get depressed. And
it will be more because, with social media, like we might love in some like Facebook or Instagram, but our kids, they might like something. They might like something else. They have many apps. They have games. You don't know who your kids talking to. But one thing you can be and you can do, you have to be a good role model for your kids. You surround yourself with the people that you want your kids to grow up and be friends and respect them. Well,
I know we've touched on quite a lot of different different areas in such a small space of time. One thing I'd like to ask you, Serena, is as a someone that came from Thailand, obviously you've contributed hugely into the Australian and Brisbane and Queensland area as far as the community is concerned. Can you explain a little bit on what you're currently doing to help the local community, and also for people who are out there, how can they be involved with whatever their hobbies may be and so on to help?
At the moment, the other title of my, if not working in my everyday job, I am I'm joined the charity organization. It's called Lions Club. People know that.
And you're involved with Sunnybank?
My title, my one is called Lions Club of Brisbane United Asia, because they have many groups. This one, Sarena is one of our members as well. So my title is the director for the Lions Club of Brisbane United Asia. Every year we need to do foundation and support local people here, even like hospital. But just only last year we didn't do much because of COVID situation. Because Australia now is just like my second home country, my second mother. I just want to help people here as well. Just anything if you can do, you can just get involved with many charity. They have lots of charity organization thing. And for the fashion, I still love fashion. That's my passions. To representing my culture, to show people about the good thing in my home country, not just the language or the dress or the culture, something else as well. Now I do the music. So for the people from other country, like migrants, they move to Australia. you still have to remember who you are, who you were before. And if anything, if you have opportunity to representing your home country, just do it in a good way.
Yep.
I mean, in a good way.
Yeah, and I think that's great, because that's, when you say good way, it's a good way of teaching other people about your community and your country and your culture, I suppose. Thank you very much, Serena. I know we've known each other for about over 4 years, I would say, at different events and functions and so on. And obviously Red Carpet, as I mentioned earlier, was one of the platforms where we always see people with talents and from different communities, from different cultures come up. But we never had opportunity to sit down and really know, and sit down and get to know you a little bit better. So thanks for spending about half an hour with me and getting to know you.
Pleasure.
Yes, I knew you from Thailand, but I didn't know about your cities. I didn't know about your Michael Schumacher, that you got to meet. And also, important topic was, even though it was a snippet of it about social media, the bullying and so on, and how difficult as a migrant it was for you to come in.
Have to be strong, very strong.
Yeah.
You get culture shock all the time. Sometimes not just from people that like an Australian. I don't want to say bully, but sometimes misunderstanding it come from the people who from your home country that live in here. But I think that's kind of art. You just need to learn, and you just need to be smart enough to hang out or surround yourself with people that you want to be with and successful.
Well, thank you, and thank you to all our listeners out there for another episode of Community Influencers, and it's a great pleasure to have Serena discuss a little bit more about Thailand. If you like this information, or if you're from Thailand, or if you're from any multicultural background, and if you'd like to add a comment, please do so. Respect other people's culture and obviously their views and their opinions as well. And if you've been to one of the restaurants that Serena mentioned, the Fat Pantry, write comment, make this a discussion, and let's embrace the beautiful country we live in, and let's do it by adding a little bit of our culture to it as well, and teach other people. Have a great one. Like I said, like and share, comment, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you. สวัสดีค่ะ